The first hour is a lie, not a loud one, a comfortable one. You settle into the seat, adjust the mirror. Hands fall naturally onto the steering wheel like they've done this 1,000 times before. Your posture is upright. Your grip is firm. Your playlist hits that perfect rhythm. Right now, your brain feels sharp, almost energized. Reaction time, fast. Focus, locked in. This is the phase where driving doesn't feel like work. It feels automatic, effortless. And that's because your brain is running on dopamine. Dopamine is the chemical behind motivation, focus, and confidence. It's the same chemical that kicks in during a competitive game, a deep conversation, or when you're in the zone. In the first hour, dopamine convinces you that you're operating at peak performance. You scan the road smoothly. You anticipate turns. You feel in control. This is where people think, I could do this all night. But here's what your brain isn't telling you. Every minute behind the wheel is already draining tiny amounts of cognitive fuel. Not enough to feel, not enough to notice. Yet, your brain is quietly switching from active awareness to predictive behavior, using habits instead of attention. You're not tired, you're not stressed, you're comfortable. And comfort is dangerous. Because confidence this early doesn't come from endurance. It comes from freshness. It's borrowed energy. And once it runs out, your brain doesn't ease you into the truth. It drops you into it. This first hour doesn't test your limits. It hides them. 8 hours in, something strange happens. Not loud, not dramatic. Quiet. You're somewhere on I-80, or a long, flat stretch of the I-10, and the world has started to blur. You're still driving, still moving, still technically alert, but the way your brain is working has changed. Your lower back aches, not sharply, just enough to remind you it exists. Your shoulders feel heavy, carrying the weight of 3 states' worth of tension. Your jaw tightens without you realizing it. You shift in your seat, roll your neck, blink longer than usual against the glare of the afternoon sun hitting the dashboard. The music that once felt energizing fades into background noise, competing with the hum of the tires on the asphalt. And that's when your brain makes a decision for you. Instead of actively paying attention, it switches to autopilot. Your brain starts relying on patterns, the white lines reflecting off the hood, the familiar curves of the interstate. Your brain stopped recording. This isn't memory loss, it's selective shutdown. Your mind decides that the endless, repetitive horizon of the Great Plains or the Mojave isn't worth conscious attention anymore, so it conserves energy by letting habits take over. You're still responding to brake lights, still staying in your lane, still moving forward at 75 miles per hour. But your awareness has narrowed. Your reaction time is slower. By fractions of a second you can't feel. Your ability to process surprises has dropped. If the road stays predictable, you're fine. But if something unexpected happens, a deer darting out from the tree line, a sudden backup near a construction zone, a semi-truck swerving to avoid a shredded tire, your brain now needs more time to wake up and respond. And on the highway, that delay is everything. This is the most deceptive stage of long-distance driving. By 24 hours, this is no longer a long drive. It's a neurological emergency. You've been awake an entire day and night. The sun has risen and set and risen again. Your body is still moving, but it's running on borrowed time. Your eyes burn, yet refuse to close. Your head feels heavy, like it's being gently pulled forward by gravity. You roll down the window. Cold air slaps your face. It helps for about 10 seconds, because caffeine, music, and fresh air don't fix this problem. They only delay it. At 24 hours, your brain begins something called microsleep. Microsleep isn't normal sleep. It's not rest. It's not even relief. It's the brain shutting off sections of itself without asking permission. For 3 seconds, 5 seconds, sometimes longer. You don't feel it happen. Your eyes stay open. Your hands stay on the wheel. Your foot stays on the gas. But you are gone. On an American highway, moving at 65 or 70 miles per hour, 5 seconds is the length of a football field. That's a blind flight. And the terrifying part? Most drivers never realize it's happening. They wake up with a sudden jolt, a sharp breath, a moment of panic. And then they convince themselves, I just zoned out. No, your brain went offline. At this stage, your thoughts stop flowing in sentences. They arrive in fragments. Speed, lights, stay straight. You may start missing exits you plan to take. You may drift within the lane, just enough to feel the rumble strip vibrate through the steering wheel. That sound isn't an annoyance. It's an alarm. Your body reacts before your mind does. Heart rate spikes, hands tighten, adrenaline surges. For a brief moment, you feel awake again. This is the most deceptive moment of all, because adrenaline creates the illusion of recovery. You think, there, I'm good now. But adrenaline doesn't restore cognitive function. It only masks collapse. Your brain is now cycling. Awake, offline. Awake, offline. Each microsleep longer than the last. You're not choosing to rest. Your nervous system is forcing it. And the more you fight it, the more violent the shutdown becomes. At 24 hours, you are no longer driving. You are being carried forward by momentum, habit, and luck. And luck runs out fast on an open road. This is the point where survival instincts kick in. Your body doesn't care about your schedule, your destination, your deadlines. It cares about one thing: stopping you before something irreversible happens. If you ignore it, the next stage isn't tiredness. It's reality breaking apart. At 48 hours, you're no longer fighting sleep. You're fighting your own brain. 2 full days without rest means the systems that normally keep reality stable are failing. Time stretches and snaps. Minutes feel like seconds. Seconds feel endless. Your thoughts don't connect anymore. They arrive as isolated flashes, light, motion, noise. You're still moving forward, but the world no longer feels continuous. Your vision begins to distort. Road signs breathe slightly, like they're expanding and contracting. Distant headlights smear into long streaks of white and red. Shadows at the edge of the road seem to move when nothing is there. You tell yourself it's just exhaustion. But this isn't normal fatigue. This is sensory misfiring. Your brain can no longer filter incoming information properly, so it fills in gaps, guessing what should be there. That's how hallucinations begin. Not dramatic ones, subtle ones. A shape in the rearview mirror that looks like someone sitting in the back seat. A figure standing near a highway sign that vanishes when you look directly at it. An animal darting across the road, except there was nothing there at all. Your heart rate jumps without warning. Your palms sweat. Your jaw tightens. Your body knows something is wrong, even if your mind can't articulate it. At 48 hours, emotional regulation collapses. You may feel sudden waves of confidence. I've got this. I'm still in control. Minutes later, that confidence flips into dread. I shouldn't be doing this. Then numbness. Your brain is struggling to maintain balance between fear and function. The prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for judgment and decision-making, is barely online. That's why choices become irrational. You don't stop when you should. You don't pull over at the rest area you pass. You convince yourself the next exit will be better. And then you forget why you didn't stop at the last one. Your body begins to send stronger signals now. Muscle twitches, shallow breathing, a constant pressure behind the eyes. You may feel detached from yourself, like you're watching the drive happen from somewhere slightly behind your own head. This sensation has a name: dissociation. It's the brain's last defense when overload becomes unbearable. At this point, you are no longer perceiving reality. You are approximating it. Every mile forward is built on assumptions instead of awareness, and assumptions fail the moment something unexpected appears. At 48 hours, the brain is no longer asking you to stop. It is preparing to stop for you, because the next stage isn't confusion, it's collapse.